Roughly 12 hours after your last bite of food, your liver runs out of sugar, completely out. It stores about 100 grams of glucose, a fuel tank worth maybe 400 calories, and if you finish dinner at 8 and didn't eat again until noon, that tank hits empty somewhere around the time you're answering your second email of the day. Your body doesn't panic. It does something far more interesting. Over the next few minutes, you're going to see exactly what happens inside you, hour by hour, when you push your first meal to midday. And you're going to find out why two people running the identical fast can get completely opposite results, because the deciding factor has almost nothing to do with what either of them eats. Stay with me. I'll hand you that answer at the very end. Start with last night. You ate dinner, and within about 2 to 4 hours, your stomach emptied into your small intestine, sugars and fats and amino acids crossing into your blood. Insulin surged to escort all of it into your cells. Then, as absorption finished, insulin fell. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, while you were completely unconscious, your liver quietly took over, trickling stored glucose back into your bloodstream to keep your brain running. Your blood sugar held almost perfectly steady the entire time, like a thermostat you never touched. Here's where it flips. As that liver tank drains, your body needs a new fuel source, and it turns to the one you're literally wearing. Fat cells release stored triglycerides as free fatty acids into the blood. Your muscles start burning them directly. Your liver takes some and converts them into ketones, a compact, water-soluble fuel that most people have heard of and almost nobody can define. Researchers call this the metabolic switch, and studies place it somewhere in the 12 to 16-hour range, depending on how big your last meal was and how much you've moved since. But your brain has a problem. It can't run on fatty acids. They don't cross into brain tissue efficiently. Ketones do. They slip across the blood-brain barrier and get burned like premium fuel. That's the physiology behind something a lot of people who fast report, a strange, sharp mental clarity around 10 or 11 in the morning. It's also why the first week can feel awful. Before the switch fully flips, you're between fuel sources, low on sugar, not yet producing many ketones. That's the fog. It usually fades as the system gets practiced at the handoff. Now, insulin. This is the part most people miss entirely. Through your whole fasted morning, insulin stays low and flat. And insulin is the hormone that tells your fat cells to hold on to what they've got. Drop it, and the enzyme that breaks fat down gets to work uninterrupted for hours. Research suggests time-restricted eating can modestly improve how sensitively your body responds to insulin. But be careful with the conclusion people jump to. When studies match total calories, the weight loss from fasting looks broadly similar to any other approach. The window isn't magic. What it's genuinely good at is making a lot of people eat less without counting anything, because you've deleted an entire eating opportunity from the day.
Which brings up the obvious objection. Won't you just be starving all morning? Here's the strange part. Hunger isn't a fuel gauge, it's a schedule. Ghrelin, your main hunger hormone, rises in waves that anticipate the times you usually eat, meaning if you've had breakfast at 7:30 every day for 20 years, your body starts ringing the bell at 7:30 out of pure habit. Those waves peak and then pass, often within about 20 minutes, whether or not you eat. Studies on habitual meal timing suggest the anticipatory signal recalibrates over 1 to 2 weeks. The hunger doesn't get conquered, it gets rescheduled. Meanwhile, something else is running in the background. In the first 30 to 45 minutes after you wake, cortisol spikes. It's a normal, healthy alarm clock that mobilizes energy and lifts blood sugar slightly. That's part of why people can feel surprisingly alert on an empty stomach. Fasting doesn't create that energy, it just leaves you undistracted enough to notice it. And there's one more process that gets talked about far more than it's understood. Autophagy, from the Greek for self-eating, is your cell's recycling program, breaking down damaged proteins and worn-out components to reuse the parts. The scientist who mapped its genetics won a Nobel Prize in 2016, so the mechanism is real and well-established. But be honest about the limits here. Most of the dramatic findings come from yeast, cells, and mice, and measuring autophagy inside a living human is genuinely difficult. The specific claim that it switches on at some exact hour of fasting is still debated. It's happening. Nobody can hand you a stopwatch for it. Now here's the reveal that changes everything, and it's the answer to the question I planted at the start. Your body isn't just responding to how long you've been fasting, it's reading a clock. Nearly every cell you own runs a circadian rhythm, and your insulin sensitivity follows it. It's highest in the morning and drops through the evening. The same bowl of rice raises your blood sugar meaningfully more at 9 at night than at 9 in the morning. So think about what a noon to 8 window actually does. You've pushed your food into the back half of the day, and if that window drifts later, a 9 or 10 p.m. dinner, you can hand back a real chunk of what the morning fast earns you. That's why two people running the identical 16-hour fast get opposite results. It was never about when they opened the window. It was about when they closed it. The front end gets all the attention. The back end quietly decides the outcome. If you want to keep decoding how your body actually works instead of guessing, subscribe. One video at a time, this stuff stops being mysterious. Next up, what happens to your body when you eat dinner after 9 p.m.? Everything you just learned about that circadian clock gets turned up to full volume in that one, and the blood sugar numbers are genuinely startling. One last thing, and it matters. This is educational content about human physiology, not medical advice. Fasting isn't right for everyone, and it isn't appropriate at all for some people. So check in with a doctor or another qualified health professional before you change how or when you eat, especially if you're pregnant, managing blood sugar, taking medication, or have any history of disordered eating. Your physiology is yours. Learn how it works, then let someone who knows your full picture help you decide what to do with it.